We love her so much. Dr. Jamie Ronchetto is on the line. Dr. Jamie, how are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Good. So let's get right into it today. I have many a question. One came from an email. That happens every once in a while. You know, you make an appearance on the show, and then then we get an email or two with questions for you.
Yeah.
So we have to save them for the next time you're on the air. One question was regarding dogs and skin care. There's a dog, a small dog, who has some flaking, and also has some little bumps, like little pimples, like I guess, for lack of a better word, like humans have, sporadically over the skin. So, what is it, and is it something serious? Is the question.
Okay, so that's a good question. My answer will be a little bit limited just because it's hard with skin without actually seeing the dog and seeing the skin to know what's going on. But I can tell you that usually flakiness is like dandruff, like what we can get too. So it's dryness, and so we want to moisturize the skin when that happens. But the little bumps could be a folliculitis, which is like a hair follicle type of issue.
What did you call it? Wait a minute. That was really impressive. What's that called again? What?
Folliculitis.
Folliculitis?
Folliculitis, yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So, and they could be related. So typically when I see something like that, obviously, depending on what else may be going on with the pet, looking for any signs of infection, which would be redness of the skin, like crusts and things like that. But if I'm not seeing anything like that, then I may just prescribe a medicated shampoo to address those types of issues. So that might be all that's needed, but I would say getting assessed by your veterinarian would probably be the best thing so they can actually, like I said, look at the skin and make sure that there's no active infection going on as well.
Well, how can you tell if it's something like folliculitis? What was that word you used again?
Folliculitis.
Folliculitis. Yeah. Okay. How can you tell if it's folliculitis versus something a little bit more serious? I mean, can dogs or cats have little tumors that would erupt in the skin?
Yes, they can. They can certainly get little skin masses and things like that. If it's something that's widespread, is likely not going to be a tumor or a mass. Usually those are more discrete, and like maybe you'd find one or two, but you're not going to have it be covering the animal. Mm-hmm. Versus folliculitis are like tiny little pimples, like you described, and that's usually covering a larger area. So like maybe down their spine or on their hip area or something like that. You would see it in a bigger area typically.
And you mentioned getting infected. Does that happen when maybe they start licking or scratching at it? Is that how an infection can start?
Absolutely. Yeah, any kind of disruption to the skin barrier allows bacteria to get underneath there and then can spread. So oftentimes with infection, especially if it's mild, you might see one area that looks infected, it's red, it's crusty, and then that might heal, but then you see it in another area and then in another area. So you're almost kind of chasing it, like especially if you're only treating topically, you might get one place to heal, but then you see it in another place and then another place. It's because the bacteria can move around underneath the skin barrier, so that's when we need to use systemic antibiotics, oral antibiotics, to kind of get everything at the same time.
Gotcha. Now, is that the same kind of antibiotics used for an ear infection?
Ear infections we usually just treat topically.
Mm-hmm.
They respond best to ointments and ear medications that you can actually put into the ear to treat that way, because typically the organisms the bacteria and the yeast organisms are in that ear discharge, not underneath the skin like we see in other places.
So here it is, March 2nd, and we're coming into spring. And I know that humans have allergies because of, there's hay fever and stuff is, flying in the wind. And we all need a little Claritin every once in a while. What about dogs and cats? Do they encounter the same kind of hay feverish stuff in the spring?
They certainly can. We definitely see allergies in our pets. I feel like especially here in Southern California, because of what grows out here, the pollens and things like that, and our seasons are relatively mild. We don't get like a freeze in winter, so we don't usually get a break from our allergies, but it certainly can be worse at certain times of the year. Yes, we definitely see allergies in pets. I would feel like more so in dogs and cats, but cats certainly can have it too, because even if they're indoor only, we're still bringing those allergens in on our clothes and our shoes and things like that, and getting them into the house type environment so they can still be exposed.
Absolutely. www.cinemavet.com. That's where we find Jamie and her team, Dr. Jamie Ronchetto. Obviously, CinemaVet is located on Cinema Drive, appropriately named. The phone number, 253-9300, is that the best number to get to you?
That's it.
That's it. So it's 253-9300. If you have an email, if you've got a question for Dr. Jamie Ronchetto, always just find us at hometownstation.com, or you can email the Hometown Morning Show as well, and we will be more than happy to get to Dr. Jamie the next time you are in on a Tuesday and try and answer all your questions. But in the meantime, if you think your dog might have a little something going on, go see Dr. Jamie, 253-9300, cinemavet.com. Have a great rest of your week, Dr. Jamie.
Thank you so much. You too.